he implied as just friends. She didn't get fazed by it. She was just super excited and she kept persisting. She was happy to see evidence that everything that she was seeing and feeling in her heart, in her soul, in her seeing the imaginal act of her desire unfold was happening. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. I wanted to share one of my amazing clients' emails to me. I had asked her to email me some of the movement that she was getting with her and her specific person. Before I get into the story, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel if you love my content. If you want me to be your coach, email me a short description. Oh my God, I always mess that up. Email me a short description, please, to kim@coreunion.com, and I will reply back to you with my next available session after you've booked your, oh my God, after you've booked your session with me at coreunion.com, and you can do a 30-minute or a package of 30 minutes. The package is what most people do prefer because it does make it super affordable to meet with me more than once. Okay, so let me get into this. She had told me that she works with her specific person. And there was a thing when they had separated, him not wanting to communicate with her, especially in front of other people at work. So what was starting to happen was communication was actually starting to increase. And she was noticing that he was actually becoming pretty playful with her, even at work, to the point where in the past, when she was in a room at her work, was kind of a healthcare facility. If she was in a particular room or office, he wouldn't go in there. And then, so what she ended up manifesting through this period when communication was starting up again was that not only was the communication increasing and him being playful and flirtatious, but there was a time, and I talked about this in one of my live videos, where she had gone into one of the rooms, an office or whatever, and she was actually scripting about him. He walked in on her and he said something along the lines of, "Oh, so what are you writing about over there?" And she kind of blushed and giggled and said something along the lines of, "It's none of your business." And he said, "Ooh, it seems kind of juicy. I'm going to have to come over there and check it out." And so that was super cute. But she left that part out in this. I had asked her after our recent session, which was April 17th, if she could send me an email of the amazing movement that she's having with her specific person for you guys, because I know that it does inspire many of you guys. So again, before I read this, please also affirm that you are completely inspired by this and you're not going to go into any kind of comparison mode, because that is truly not what becoming awakened in this process is about. Okay, so you just want to take this as inspiration. Okay, so she wrote, "I've been in separation with my SP since the beginning of January. I started working with Kim on the end of January. Kim guided me in the areas I needed to work on in inner work." And so what I do with my clients, with her and with everybody else, is I ask for the old story so then I can come up with recreating everything, recreating the new story, recreating my client and how they see things, how they see love, how they see relationships, things like that, releasing, letting go of old past traumas and wounds, which is not a hard thing. And also helping them see their specific person differently, and helping them like with different things that they should do throughout the day when they're not doing their inner work to remain in trust and in faith. Okay. So shortly after our first session, my SP called me out of the blue in February. I was so happy. One thing that I was working on, imagining before he reached out, was doing this class together that he had got me tickets for during Christmas. And this isn't going to be word for word because I have to try to read through this relatively quickly. On that phone conversation, he asked if we could still do the class together. So that was a big deal because we went from separation, no communication whatsoever, to communication increasing. And again, it wasn't the professed, it wasn't like, "Oh my God, I'm in love with you. I want to be with you. We need to start right from where we left off," because that's what happens. You guys immediately go into being hyper focused and then you're back in the old story. She did not do that. Okay. So I'll just continue here. So again, on that phone conversation, he asked if we could still do the class together. I asked about resuming dating again, and he told me at that time, no, because you tend to push people away. which, yes, was my old state. I did push him away energetically because of my past traumas and fears. I said, okay, and dropped it and then continued on persisting in my new state. So right there is a point where when you're not, when you're not able to drop and let go of the old story and you're not persisting, there's another area where many of you guys might get hung up, because as soon as you say, I want to be with you again, can we start talking more? Can we see each other? If they say no, you guys, that's when you guys, like, you want to fold, you want to give up, and then you get all upset, you get in your own way, and then you're like, what do? I feel like giving up. This isn't working. But just like she did, she just said, okay. And she kept persisting because she trusts in her soul and she trusts in the process. Okay. Let me pick up. I said, okay, and dropped it, and then continued and persisting in my new state, daily affirmations and my imaginal acts. And she was doing it how I trained her. When I met Kim for the second time, I told her about my SP reaching out, plus wanting to do the class together. I told her I was really nervous about it. She told me to work on inner conversations with SP of the class going very well. The class was still several weeks away. After a few weeks passed, and also after my SP has been making some communication here and there with me, my nervousness lessened on the class and I felt more confident. Plus, with all the daily work, I am doing a really what was feeling, oh my God, I got to go back here. Okay. My nervousness lessened on the class and I felt more confident. Plus, with all the daily work I am doing, I really was feeling more worthy and confident with my SP. That's another point that I want to say. She said, okay, in the 3D, she kept persisting in the end, and she just kept telling herself how worthy and deserving she is of the love. So she was dropping the old version of her that was feeling that she didn't deserve to be loved, or she wasn't worthy of love from her SP. Also, another point to bring up here is that instead of getting hung up on micromanaging the class, she just went in her imagination and imagined the class going well. So sometimes when you're back in contact and your specific person is texting you, and you immediately start like monitoring the amount of time it's taking for them to text you back, that's when I always tell my clients, and I'm trying to tell you guys, that's when you stop yourself and you go within. So you withdraw from the 3D, from your life, and you go into your imagination, and you imagine a lot of amazing communication going back and forth, but you pull yourself out of micromanaging and being hyper-focused on the 3D, okay? So now she said, I wanted to see how scripting would work, as I hadn't tried that yet. I was only doing affirmations morning, noon, and night, and then imaginal sats at night, and a few imaginal conversations with my SP throughout the day. So the week of the class, a few days before, I scripted out a few days in a row how wonderful the weekend class was going to go, and that I spent the night at my SP's house. I got ready in his bathroom doing my hair. I made him dinner after the class and wrote out how my travel bag was next to his bed, as I slept in his bed next to him all weekend. So that was all her scripting. Lo and behold, literally 3 hours before the class. You see how she wasn't sweating it. She kept scripting, even though each day that passed, he wasn't asking her to stay over. She kept doing it right up until 3 hours before the class started that Friday evening. He texted her and offered for her to crash at his place for the weekend. He implied as just friends, but I was still super excited that my scripting was hardening into fact, that I just wrote out. Another place where a lot of people would get triggered. He implied as just friends. She didn't get fazed by it. She was just super excited, and she kept persisting. She was happy to see evidence that everything that she was seeing and feeling in her heart, in her soul, in her seeing the imaginal act of her desire unfold was happening. She wasn't fazed by him saying just as friends. She wasn't like, oh my God, he friend zoned me. Oh my God, he doesn't love me. Oh my God, he doesn't want me. Do you see what I'm saying? We got done with the class Friday night and I asked him where he wanted me to sleep. And he said, you can sleep with me in the bed. Nothing intimate happened over the weekend. However, that really boosted my trust in this process, as this is an SP that always previously told me when he's done with a woman, he is done and cuts her off cold turkey and never looks back. So considering in less than 3 months, I already manifested communication, the class together, and even spending the weekend with him at his place, even in his bed too, then I just need to keep the trust up and keep persisting in the end. This also confirmed circumstances don't matter. Another place where she didn't get hooked up and she just kept persisting in excitement of the unfolding. A lot of you guys, if you got to that point, you would have been frustrated that maybe you guys weren't intimate together. Maybe he didn't seem to show any form of interest romantically. But I will say, as a side note, and this is a very 3D thing that I'm about to say, but I'm still going to say it because I do think some of you guys this will help some of you guys. When communication starts back up with your specific person, if they don't go straight to marriage, okay, and it's been a little while since you guys have communicated and they want to take it slow, and especially from a masculine perspective, when the masculine tells the feminine, and this is gender neutral, I'm just talking like when the masculine wants to take it slow, that is a really good sign that this person actually takes you very seriously. Okay. So, and I know that this doesn't apply to everybody. I just thought I would mention that. She confirmed that circumstances don't matter. Anything is possible. I just had a session with Kim the other day and told her I have finally reached this point of knowing it is done. But I did notice that I was having resentment and hurtful thoughts towards my SP still coming up from the separation, even though I know I created the separation with my fears and previous negative inner conversations. She did a forgiveness prayer with me. I am now really working daily on my mental diet that when a negative thought comes up, to address it, I do a couple affirmations to counter the negative thoughts and then get back to feeling or living in the end state. The negative thoughts seem to be less and less every day. I am super thankful for all of Kim's help. I know and I trust that the separation between me and my specific person is unfolding in its perfect time. I'm actually very thankful for all the growth, forgiveness, and healing this has all brought me. I know our relationship is better than ever, as I keep imagining it so. I want everyone to not give up, keep the trust, and keep persisting. And she signed it. So I wanted to add a little bit of a couple tips in here of something that you can do. And I do have another specific person story that I actually need to, I have two or three more that I need to create my next videos on. But I wanted to add a couple things to notice that she kept persisting and she kept in the imaginal act. When things showed up in the 3D that weren't necessarily in alignment with the end, she just said, okay. She didn't fight against it because fighting against it creates more resistance. And then she just continued to persist in the end, and also then incorporated her imagination, which is our creative power, in allowing herself to enjoy the experience of the things as it was unfolding. Okay. And then she didn't get caught up with anything. And she chose to do some scripting. You can do scripting, you can do journaling. I've never been one to do a lot of scripting, but I tell the story. So in other words, I write and I script the story in my mind. Sometimes I'll use journaling and scripting if I just need to kind of uncover something, some sort of fear, worry, or doubt. So I might just type something out and then I look at it and I type out the exact opposite and I delete the old story. And then it helps me create my new affirmations. You guys can do that too. If you need my help in this process, obviously reach out for coaching, as I said in the beginning of the video. I believe and declare that this video helped a lot of you guys, that inspired a lot of you guys to continue to persist, not to give up. And I just want you to affirm down below with a heart, with prayer hands, with anything that you want, just to affirm that you absolutely receive this, that you are back in your trust, that you're living from the end, that you're trusting in the process, that you are completely detached and dropping the old story, the old memories, the old version of you, the old version of your person, the old version of your bank account, the old version of any problems. You are creating an entirely new reality, and that you are now accepting it, which means you are now in the timeline of it. Okay. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing day. Reach out if you need me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you.